Narcian is a gift to free-to-play players. He's unshakable on defense, and he's a clutch unit for PvP and arena assault. Greetings and salutations, my name is Deltran, doing build for Narcian, the Wyvern General. You and I are going to talk about why Narcian is a must-have unit to develop, and how to make him an unstoppable bulwark that you can't afford to ignore. But first, let's get his digits. So we're looking for 42, 35, and 32, and we hit one of those. Stellar start, right? So we're at defense, we're one away on hit points, so we're sort of looking at somebody here who's going to be a great defender, and that's how we're going to go ahead and really evaluate Narcian from here on out. His resistance is 26, which is not a dumpster fire. That's about all you can expect from most heroes anymore, which is a shame, but that's a completely different video. His attack and his speed are 29. They're both a little that basically sort of already hints to you that he should be an Emerald Axe user, and spoilers, he is. Hit points of 41. It's actually okay. You can see how he compares to his contemporaries down below. Baruka is at the top of defense and hit points, and Narcian's pretty much just in the middle, and you can see he's mostly in the middle of everything, except for he's comparatively high resistance, but, you know, once again, that's a different video. His attack is a little bit on the low side of life, and so whenever you compare him to the other green flyers out there, there's not many of them. There's should be a lot of room to spread your wings, but when it comes down to it, it seems like he has an odd set of stats. I don't have Michaelis on here because he's another grand battle unit that you get, and not everybody would necessarily have him. But compared to everybody that you could pool as of the time of recording, yeah, he looks sort of meh. Well, let's take a look at what he swings with. He does have Emerald Axe Plus, as predicted, so he's going to get that bonus against blues. He's not going to get anything against greens, and of course he's going to get slaughtered against reds. He comes with Vengeance, which is pretty nice. He gets pounded on, and he has 41 hit points, which is enough to actually care about Vengeance. It's not huge, but when it comes down to it, 41 is plenty to work with. He comes with Lancebreaker 3 as well. This is actually one of the two sources in the game of Lancebreaker, so it's a good thing he has it. That'll let him get a good double tap on blue units as long as he has 50% of his hit points or above. And Savage Blow is just fun. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the obituaries. 34, 18, and 112. Whenever he initiates. Otherwise, he's 24, 36, 104 whenever he's defending. Now, here's the thing. Whenever he's initiating, out of the 34 wins he has, 34 of them are blue. He has no losses against blue. He better darn well not with an Emerald Axe. And he has 10 draws. So we can take a look down here at who he's doing this against. There's most of the blues, not all the blues, but I mean, there are a lot of faces there that I'm happy to see, and there's a lot of high defense people. That's why I have people like Rakut sitting in there, but then you have other people like Reinhardt and Hanoka, Abel. You shouldn't discount Abel, he's a beast. Speaking of double tappers, there's Cordelia. There's a lot here that you would be very happy to see removed from the board, and Narcian is giving that to you as a present. You're welcome. As far as people who knock us over, that top row, the highlighted red there is whenever he initiates, and the only off-color unit there that's getting rid of him is Legion. Otherwise, everybody's red. I have some notable there. You have the bottom line there. The only person who is of another color is a limited edition unit, so you might not even be seeing it for very much. And then otherwise, surprise! Archers! So there's really no surprise here at all, actually, when it comes down to it. And it's at this point that I want to talk to you guys about how to use Narcian. With Emerald Axe, Narcian's not going to bend over for any blue unit that's out there. Even though he has 10 draws, he's not on the downside of any of those fights. As a matter of fact, a Narcian at 5 stars can handle a plus attack Reinhardt, who has Death Blow on him. He can handle that. If you're having problems with Reinhardt, there's a free unit that gets rid of all of your problems. Go get him. Go develop him. and bring him along, he's going to go ahead and let Reinhardt come on up, and even if he is that beast that has Moonbow, that has the Quicken Pulse, that has Death Blow, and his plus attack, Narcian's still going to be around. He'll be a little bit angry, and that's good because he has Vengeance. He'll be not like he even needs it to kill Reinhardt, but he has Vengeance. You could go ahead and be a super-powered narcissistic jerk and go plow into whoever you want, which will probably be Reinhardt, but if you're set up correctly, you could actually probably leverage him to get rid of another target. It's probably a little more troublesome to you. Lancebreaker is there to make sure that you do take care of most of the blues that you care about. That does put a lot of the other faces that we saw a moment ago on the board. That's the reason why Ephraim is there. It's the reason why Hanoka is there. Otherwise, you're not going to be getting anywhere. His okay speed, though, is actually why some of the other Sword Lords aren't doubling you and killing you. That's why Ike wasn't on our kill list. So even though we don't really have a great speed to talk about, we're doing very well for ourselves. Savage Blow has a new opportunity in the current meta. Whenever you're talking about skills that trigger off of hit points, great. Go ahead and smack everybody on the field, lower their hit points, and then you won't have to worry about Panic Ploy, or any of the other ones for that matter. And if your opponent's bringing boost skills to the arena, great! They're not going to be that helpful anymore. Savage Blow has some new life in it, all because of the meta that's trying to come about, that's getting rid of the idea that all you can do is give bonuses to heroes and use blade tomes and all of that stuff. And those who are embracing that are actually going to find greater problems dealing with Narcian than what we did even whenever he was first introduced as the first Grand Hero Battle unit. So if you want to make your Reinhardt counter a little bit stronger, here's some recommendations. Reposition, as always, on a flyer. Reposition is wonderful. It's going to get you out of a lot of tight situations. The fact that he's a flyer alone is a godsend. And then you have reposition on that to move you over top of those annoying mountains, lava pads, rivers, whatever have you. That's amazing. Narcian is a very defensive when it comes down to it, so swap works out well for him too, especially if you mix him into groups that are not flyers. If you were in a group without flyers, I tend to find that swap on a defensive flyer like Narcian is to work out even better. As far as that empty A slot, you can go ahead and throw Triangle Adept in there. You're not going to get a lot out of it initially. That's really there in case you want to bring Narcian into Tempest Trials to have a Lunatic mode, or maybe even an Infernal Grand Hero Battle or some other special map. That's where you're going to see Triangle Adept really shine. Otherwise, it's just overkill on this particular unit. If that's not what you're worried about, I would say leave that at home, and you can go with something like Darting Blow. It's going to get you a nice, healthy amount of extra kills, and you're looking at grays and greens at that point in time. So that's very beneficial. If you're looking for cheap ways to update other parts of him, Moonbow is a wonderful special to give him. Vengeance is good because he's going to get thwacked, and he's going to want to retaliate. But if you're trying to keep him healed, or if you want him to get that extra boost to damage just a little bit early, Moonbow actually really ups his kills. If you're already thinking that you don't care too much about fighting blues, you could remove Lancebreaker and give him Poison Strike 3, and this gives him damage across the board to everybody. He's obviously not going to be killing anything that's not blue anyway. You might as well go ahead and give that assist to people who are actually going to deal something. Not to mention, if you leave your C slot alone, that means it's 7 damage to everybody in an area, 10 damage to the schmuck that you just tapped, and then your friends are going to come on up and just mop up the rest of the board. Dragback is always wonderful on a flying unit, and I do recommend Dragback for Narcian as opposed to Hit and Run. The reason for that is that he can take the hit repeatedly, as long as you're not sending him against some type of Sword Lord. He'll be able to pull him back, and then if your friends can't finish him off, which I think might be a strategic error on your part, just saying, then you'll be able to actually take that other hit that's in retaliation. Speaking of low hit points, Wings of Mercy on a unit like this is really nice because once someone gets triggered for that, it means that you can go ahead and throw Narcian in front of them or behind them if you have reposition, move them around, whatever. And it's going to be exactly what you need right where you need it, and it's probably going to save your bacon if you do something like that. Let's talk total builds. Here's one for you. It's honestly not my favorite, but it does work. 62, 2, and 100. We're gaining quite a few kills here, as you can see, the ones that are highlighted green, and a couple of red mages. There's other red units that we get, but there's nothing that I felt like highlighting for you. Otherwise, we get some green mages. We do lose. The 2 losses we have are Laszlo and Hannah, so my recommendation is maybe stay away from them. Slaying Axe is what we're putting on him. This build is very expensive. Slaying Axe and Swift Sparrow give him that 62 wins. If you put the same components on someone else, they're going to do a lot more damage on the battlefield. But putting them here on this particular Narcian means that he is going to be able to exchange a little bit of that durability that he had. Not a heck of a lot, but a little bit of it for some extra killing power. And that might be worth it for you for what, depending on your team. If you go with Poison Strike and keep Savage Blow, we already talked about the benefits there. So anything he doesn't kill is going to be crippled, and his friends can come on and mop up. Reposition's great, Moonbow's great, and if you are looking to make Narcian hit like a truck, and this hits like a small 2-wheel drive truck, I guess, maybe? I don't know. The analogy broke down. But if you do want to give some umph to him, this is the way to go. If you want to keep your Narcian a little bit defensive, this is actually my recommended build. Keep the Emerald Axe and sit on that huge defensive boost that it gives you. Give him Swap. I prefer Swap in defensive builds. Swap is much more defensive. Reposition is a lot more offensive, but you don't want Narcian going deep into anything, and you don't want Narcian to be at risk, so Swap is actually a pretty good one. Moonbow, of course, always ups your damage potential, at least immediately. There are corner cases where you're going to want something like Vengeance, but for the most part, Moonbow is probably going to be what I recommend switching out on Narcian in nearly every instance. Iote's Shield means that you're no longer falling down to all those stupid archers, except for the most buffed up ones, which means in PvP Arena might not necessarily make you the safest, but in everywhere else, you're going to be just fine. Keep Lancebreaker 3, make sure he can do what he needs to do, and give him Panic Ploy. This lets him support the front line from the back, and then he could go ahead and just swoop in, swap around people, and take the hit whenever he needs to. Narcian is great whenever you utilize him, and I would like to say that, honestly, you could keep him as a 4-star unit. All these stats are for 5-star, but while you take a huge hit on who you could kill, who kills you really doesn't change. Narcian is a fantastic 4-star unit. You could buff him up with some of the cheaper options. You're going to be happy with him. He's not exactly going to be contending for Best Fighter of the Year, but you will enjoy using the crap out of him. So hit that like button if I've given you something to chew on. Hit that subscribe button if you like your info hot and fresh like Grandma's cookies. My name is Deltrain. Thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate all of you, and until next time, take it easy.